score. And then slowly it started, hey, I'm helping somehow. And then some of the responses I get to my answers, something like, hey, you saved my day. Or
Hey guys, welcome to this episode with Dhanvi. Dhanvi is an expert in Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, and all related technologies. He's a very active member in Stack Overflow and several other technical communities. And I leave the mic to Dhanvi to introduce himself and speak about his sort of experiences and technology.
hey, all, I'm Dhanvi. So, like any other Indian, I think I went to engineering college and graduated in CS, or like most of the things. And in the college, I did a little bit of open source and then security and also a little bit of competitive coding. And that's where I caught up a little bit with Linux. And then the equivalents, I was using Linux in college. And then I also ran all the stupid commands, which even destroyed my machine, something like rm -arrow. And then I graduated and then got a placement. Sorry, joined this company called Scooper. Uh, it's a US based mortgage company, and in there I was actually hired as a full stack engineer, but I somehow changed or changed my role into DevOps, and then started taking care of the servers. And that's where I started my Docker slash, let's say Docker Swarm journey. That time I knew that there was something called Kubernetes, but hey, I didn't get much hands on. I was going through the docs just that little bit. After my first company, I joined this startup called Belong.com, and that's where we were shifting away from, let's say, VM based infrastructure to Kubernetes based infrastructure. Um, that's where I caught up a little bit more with Kubernetes, and that's where I thought, hey, there are a lot of Kubernetes questions in Stack Overflow, so maybe good way to increase my score and then also contribute back as well. And then recently, I joined this new startup called OSlash, and we are into IT management. You should check it out.
Super interesting, Dhanvi. So, Kubernetes is not a technology that is easy to learn. I don't know. This is the perception that I've heard from, Kubernetes experts. They've all said that, the learning curve is very steep. What were your personal experiences, and was community a good tool in, helping you learn about Kubernetes and, helping you become who you are today as an expert?
So I would say for me, it wasn't that steep in the context of I started. I mean, like I had the little bit background of Docker Swarm, uh, so which was similar. I mean, like you could call it, you could say oranges and apples, slightly similar, or let's say hey, or different types of apples is what I could say. So while catching up from, let's say, hey, Docker to Docker Swarm, it was not much complex because Docker Swarm didn't have this huge complex ecosystem or like huge things to get into. So those concepts were a little bit smaller and simpler. So from there, since I had the understanding of Docker Swarm, so catching up from Docker Swarm to Kubernetes was like a little bit easier, I would say. So you could say, hey, Docker Swarm, the little stepping stone, like to reach Kubernetes.
Interesting. And what do you think of community as as a factor in like tech? Like, do you think it's important, like
Uh-huh.
essential?
Uh, I would say, hey, that is obviously a very good factor. When you're trying to learn something, I don't think, hey, you may not get very quick responses because obviously everyone are working in their own time. But I raised a simple minor PR to the Kubernetes community, and I'm sure. So the way they helped out with me with explaining me, hey, all this stuff and all. So I think uh, that is important. And then obviously the ecosystem of the whole tutorials, and then whole other companies taking care of picking up Kubernetes and doing a little bit more into it. I think all this together has made my learning curve a little bit easier, is what I would say.
Excellent. So I see that you contribute yourself also in helping others. So what's the driving factor behind sort of resolving other people's questions, and how can that experience of helping other people be made easy? Because this might encourage more people to also get into the habit of helping in the community.
Correct. Frankly speaking, I started just with a goal of hey increasing my Stack Overflow score, and then slowly it started. Hey, I'm helping somehow, and then some of the responses I get to my answers something like, "Hey, you saved my day," or otherwise my boss would have been kicking me out of the door. Something like that is what continues to be. I mean, like that is why I continue to contribute. Uh, yeah, I think this is what I can say much about.
Super interesting.